There hasn't been a new asset class since the bond market was created in 1693. Well, now there's a new asset class, and it is the digital asset space. The question is, are you participating? Hey, what is going on, guys? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is the digital asset space. What is going on? Happy Friday. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Some really good stuff going on in the digital asset space today. I got to tell you, really excited about this. So the Digital Dollar Project releases this white paper. Wow. So we're going to take a look at that for sure. Interesting times. Interesting times. I went over a bit of it. And the first thing I thought to myself was, why would you fall for that? Like, why would you even go there, right? So we're going to talk about why would you even go there? And what I mean by go there is why would you put your hard-earned cash that you can transition to digital dollars in a bank? Why would you want to do that? We talked about the misdirection. We talked about the sleight of hand before on a couple of other streams. And you see it in the Digital Dollar Project white paper. You do see it there as well. The misdirection, the sleight of hand, the guys. And we're going to talk about that without question, guys. Good to see you. Happy Friday to you. Yeah, afternoon stream. And we're going to do a late night stream also. So be prepared for that one. But definitely wanted to hit this today. Hopefully I get to catch some of my UK fans before they get off to bed. Hey, who knows? They might be grabbing their favorite libation right about now and hanging out with the Crypto Siege. So we shall soon see. What's going on, friends? Win Mullet, what's up, my bro? How are you doing today, man? XRP Joe is in the building. What's up, XRP Joe? Rav Singh is here. What's up, Rob? Good to see you in the stream, my friend. Who let the bulls out? What's going on, brother? I don't know if I got that Google Docs. I don't know. I have to look and check and see on that, and see if I can't pull it up. I don't know if I can just go straight Google Docs on my computer or what, but I will check that out for sure. And did you add anything else besides just at the end there, my friend? And who let the bulls out? And I appreciate you being here, man. Pawanji. Namaste, right? How are you doing, Pawanji? Good to see you, man. Yeah, hopefully I catch some of the UK people out there. I was looking at something and said, I need to make sure I do some streams where I can catch the people out in the UK. Good afternoon, Crypto Seas, Giveson. I hope I'm saying that right. Good to see you, my friend. Digital Dollar Project. Hey, it's a white paper, right? It's it's cool to see it. It's cool that they're moving forward. That's a good thing. That's a cool thing for sure. It's a cool thing for sure. But I think it's really, the partnership with the what is it? It's a quote unquote nonprofit organization from Giancarlo and with Accenture. I get it. I get it. It's cool. We do need to move forward with the digital dollar without question. But I was reading something earlier today. There's a book called The Pirates of Manhattan by Barry Dyke. And he used a phrase in there. I'm going to be using this all the time now. But he used a phrase in there, the United States of Amnesia. The United States of Amnesia. That's what he called the good old US of A. Oh, hilarious. Like we tend to forget. We tend to forget things that have happened in the past, like the massive get over in 2008, 2009. And then we tend to forget about it and tend to participate in that same system. Good friend of mine told me, he says, if you're participating in the loan system with banks and stuff, you're part of the inflation problem. You're part of the dollar inflationary problem that's going on with the dollar. I said, wow. He said, well, you understand they can't make a loan unless you make a deposit, right? Yeah, I get that. And if you did, in addition to getting a loan, because obviously you have deposits there, right? They tend to not lend money to people who haven't had deposits on there in the past, right? Or a record of deposits there. Then you get a loan, you're adding to the inflationary problem. You're adding to the problem. So, wow, that is heavy. And it makes 10,000% sense. It makes, complete sense. But anyway, United States of Amnesia. So going over the digital dollar earlier today, and I'm like, they're talking about interest, right? Or negative interest. They're talking about, you can kind of put your dollars where you want, you can put them with us, or you could just kind of have them in a custody somewhere, right? But hey, if you put them with us in this banking system, it's going to be FDIC insured. It's going to have that FDIC thing to it, The misdirection, guys, the misdirection, the sleight of hand, the guys, that is safety, right? So my friend tells me, if you don't participate in the banking system, it's hard for them to operate. And I think what the message what my mentor was trying to get across to me was, how much do you value your capital? Remember, I don't know, what is it, maybe 3 or 4 Wealth Wednesdays ago, Generational Wealth Wednesdays ago, when Mullet, we talked about what was going on in Lebanon and how people had put their hard-earned cash into a bank, and the powers that be at Lebanon had decided in this particular bank or branches of banks, yeah, you're not going to get access to your money. You are not going to get access to your money. United States of Amnesia doesn't just happen here. It happens in a lot of places, apparently. You don't have access to your money. We're gonna dish it out to you at our discretion. Our discretion. Powerful stuff. And it feels like this was the digital dollar. The fact that they would mention FDIC, the fact that they would mention interest or negative interest, and the fact that they would note or hint that, you can put it somewhere else in custody, right? Because they know innovation, right? Technology will innovate around them and provide us, you and I, with better options, like earning money on your assets, like collateralizing your assets, like earning interest on your assets, right? So they know that there are other options out there in the digital space. So they say, yeah, well, you can put it in other places, but you're not going to have the luxury. You're not going to have the peace of mind. You're not going to have the safety of the FDIC. Come put your hard-earned dollars here, because that's what we'll give you. We won't give you your money when you need your money, but we'll give you peace of mind. We'll give you a measure of peace of mind, a measure of safety. United States of Amnesia, guys. It's something to think about. That's why we always ask on the channel. When Moon, how much of your money, your capital, yours, are you going to put in a traditional space that has a tendency, in traditional markets, that has a tendency to rob you blind? How much of it are you going to put there? How much of it are you going to put in the stock market, the rigged stock market? How much of it are you going to put in mutual funds? How many of you have 70% of your savings in a target date mutual fund? Right? It's a good question to ask. I love that they mention it like that. I love that they mention that. Who let the bulls out says, let me share this. I keep minimum in the banks, maximum in cold storage and metals. Man, smart, man. Smart. Who let the bulls out. Very smart, my friend. Very smart. The men, the mal. The rest in cold storage. That's a smart man right there. I can tell you that right now. In my humble opinion. Lucky Lloyd. Lucky Lloyd. Lucky Lloyd. You can rob more people with a pen than a gun. Indeed, you can. Without question. You certainly can. You certainly can. You certainly can. Great point, Lucky Lloyd. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Did I see one Deep Mind in the building? Did I see Deep Mind? Deep Mind is here. Is Deep Mind here? Deep Mind Lab is in the building, y'all. Hey, Season family, just came in to smash the like. I won't be able to watch the screen. Just listen. I appreciate you being here, brother. Definitely appreciate you being here, man. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, they can, that's a funny, it's so funny that it's mentioned like that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's what I say, right? Think about it. How much are you going to put there? Are we going to fall into the United States of amnesia syndrome? When moon? Are we going to fall into that? Under the guise, the sleight of hand, and misdirection of safety. Yeah, gotta tell you. What's going on, Trey? How's it? Good to see you, brother. Frank McGillicuddy's in the building. What's up, Frank? How are you today, bro? Right? The thunder sounds in the building. How are you, man? What's up? What's up? Life is good. TJ Jackson is in the building. I heard a dog out there yelping like something's wrong. Devon Steve is here. What's going on, Devon? And Corey Anderson is here, right? What's going on, bro? Good to see you, Corey. Anything's possible, XRP Wrangler. Anything's possible. I don't know how they get access to it without having your keys, but they can do a thing and do another thing that, right? That's the challenge. Right? The boiling crypto is like a cold wallet without question. So just wanted to kind of point that out before we go over it a little bit, because I just, I found that to be interesting, to say the least. Because, Chris had put it out. He tweeted, was it yesterday, that they were going to come out with the white paper for the digital dollar project. Very cool. Very cool to see that they're doing that. Let's go over an article first, if I can find it. Yeah. Interesting little article. Yeah. And I got to do a little bit more homework on these self-directed IRAs. I got to get a little more homework on them in terms of the accessibility of your keys, to whether or not you fully give up your keys through these self-directed IRAs. Got to really look into that. Right now, not a big fan of mutual funds and stocks and, these type of things, obviously. Right. The tax savings on appreciation in the self-directed IRA is going to be very, very cool. Right. If you do the Roth, right, you pay the taxes up front. Now you just buy, and whatever appreciates, it appreciates it. But I got to check it. I want to make sure that I have complete access to my digital assets. I mean, the only reason why I would use a self-directed IRA is for the fact that, it can grow and appreciates. And if you do the Roth one, the self-directed Roth IRA, taxes are paid. So Danny Loft is here. What's up, Danny Loft? Good to see you, my friend. So let's go over this article real quick. Yeah, I saw that physical gold on iTrust now. I saw that. You can also do that on Celsius as well. One of my sound savings instruments, one of my SSIs. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go over this article real quick. Oh man, I might not be able to. Wait a minute. All right, so here it is, Chris Giancarlo. Now is the time for the U.S. to jump into the digital currency game. Well, how about that? Here's the quick take, little summary from the article. On Friday, the Digital Dollar Project, the high-profile partnership between Giancarlo's nonprofit Digital Dollar Foundation and consulting firm Accenture, as I like to say, Accenture, released its first white paper. The paper warns that if the U.S. government doesn't start thinking seriously about how to design the digital dollar, it could end up losing its ability to impose the nation's value on the financial system. Well, how about that? It's high time the U.S. starts seriously contemplating how it might design a digital version of the dollar, or else it risks missing the chance to bring its core values to bear on the future of money. That's essentially former Commodities Future Trading Commission's chair, J. Christopher Giancarlo's pitch. On Friday, the Digital Dollar Project, the high-profile partnership between Giancarlo's nonprofit, released its first white paper and Accenture. All right, I read it. The paper reiterates many of the ideas that Giancarlo and others involved in the project have already presented, albeit in more details. It's more of a philosophical argument than a technical description. But it also illustrates how some of the most fundamental technical designs questions regarding central bank digital currencies cannot really be separated from the philosophical ones. It makes the case that now is the time for the U.S. to be asking these questions. There's sort of a global conversation going on that seems to happen only once every several generations that is trying to answer the question, what is money? Giancarlo says he credits Bitcoin with starting that conversation more than a decade ago, but now the discussion it's accelerating, he says, thanks to the emergence of Libra, China's apparently imminent central bank digital currency, and the beer code. The beer code has spurred existential questions about money that extend beyond just regulators and central bankers and policymakers, but also to ordinary people, especially those that don't have full access to the banking system, or other alternatives. Suddenly, we're asking the question, how do we get them relief in a crisis immediately and adequately? You got to think about, there's a reason why was it 2.3 billion, 2.5 billion unbanked. There's a reason why they, quote unquote, are going after the unbanked, right? It's just more cash for them. Ultimately, it's what it is. It's not about helping the unbanked. It's not. It's about more cash for them. All right. So in March, the powerful Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives seemed to agree that a digital dollar is indeed needed as a way to distribute economic relief benefits. A draft stimulus bill outlined a plan to compel the Fed to let retail users open accounts and access their dollars via wallet software. The House bill described the system primarily on accounts. Holding an account at the Fed would, in theory, feel a lot like having one at Wells Fargo or Chase. It would just be a public institution administering it, or like the Postal Service. In fact, the bill proposed using the Postal Service as a service provider in this system. Imagine ATMs run by the post office instead of a commercial bank. Okay, yeah, the game has started. It's right. All right. Giancarlo and his colleagues at the Digital Dollar Project have a different design principle in mind. However, they contend that an account-based system is not sufficient and that, in addition, the dollar must be tokenized. Here's how the new white paper defines the term: the act of turning an asset, good, right, or currency into a representation with properties that suffice to attest to and transfer ownership. This is how the white paper defines tokenize. The closest parallel in the physical world is a dollar bill, which is known as a bearer instrument. The white paper argues that a digital bearer instrument approach, which would take advantage of distributed ledger technology, is the best way to keep the infrastructure flexible and future-proof. But whether the dollar should be tokenized is only one of several fundamental design-related questions that must be dealt with before a system can be built. Perhaps the most vexing are about privacy. To what extent would a tokenized dollar preserve the privacy of cash? How exactly should anti-money laundering regulations be enforced? And what technology should be used to verify individual identities in that case? Well, I got to tell you, speaking of verifying identities, shout out to Joel Katz, David Schwartz, and his podcast, Block Stars, where they talked about a company called Keyless and the biometrics. Very, very interesting. Listen to without question. You definitely want to check it out because they seem to have the technology to solve some huge problems. And it's going to be enterprise and also retail type software as well, which is really, really cool. Some of these questions may be about values and expectations, both of which can vary significantly among different cultures. For instance, people in the United States have certain expectations with respect to government surveillance that people in China do not share. Likewise, I'm not sure about if they don't share it. The powers that be might not share it. Likewise, people in Europe have different expectations than Americans regarding commercial surveillance. These differing value systems will inevitably be built into future digital money systems, said Giancarlo. Today, the dollar's role as the world's reserve currency gives the U.S. disproportionate power to impose its values on other members of the global financial system. Theoretically, however, a compelling enough digital money system could erode that power. It's important to bring those values to the new digital money. Giancarlo says, either that or the nation might have to accept values to which it is not traditionally accustomed. That's why he views the situation as pressing. Yeah. So the game has started, without question. The game has started. There are some major players in the game, says Giancarlo. The U.S. so far has been pretty much sitting on the bleachers. And I think there's an urgency for the U.S. to get in the game. Interesting. Let's go over a little bit. Shout out to the people from the Block Crypto. Who wrote this? Mike Orcutt. Nice job, my friend. Nice job. A little bit of a good read there. Now, here is the white paper. Okay, let's go over a couple of things here. Here it is here. The digital dollar project, exploring a United States CBDC, put together by people from the Digital Dollar Foundation and Accenture. Table of contents.
You're so sneaky. Are you live?
Yes. A road to a U.S. digital dollar. What is the digital dollar project? Introduction, explanation, benefits of a CBDC in the context of a U.S. dollar. Configurable design choices and options, understanding the role of the dollar in the global economy. Let's go over something here. Let's show you something. Tokenization can provide a new level of portability, efficiency, programmability, and accessibility, ensuring the tokenized digital dollar's ability to complement existing formats of money while simultaneously modernizing our payment and financial infrastructure. While electronic transfers of cash have been evolving for several decades, U.S. central bank money as legal currency has seen few, if any, innovations since the proliferation of banknotes during the 19th century. Its circulation has remained strictly local and its functionalities limited. The Digital Dollar Project's vision is a tokenized digital dollar that would serve as a new and more dynamic format of central bank money. It talks about, the value case for a tokenized digital dollar, and we get that. We understand that, right? So a tokenized digital dollar could play a crucial function in serving as the safest form of money and therefore offers value above and beyond existing currency mediums. Programmability is another feature that could unlock additional avenues for innovation and precision and value transfers. A tokenized digital dollar could enhance confidence, efficiency, and functionality in dollar payments across retail, wholesale, and international payment use cases. It's got the repo payments part. I'm not going to go through that. It's got the wholesale payments. Today, wholesale payments rest on national payment systems, and they are typically conducted through interbank clearing and using central bank money to settle securities and other large value payments in real-time gross settlement systems like the Fed wire. Due to the nature of the prevailing account-based systems, only organizations with accounts can transact in central bank money, like not you and I, just like a physical dollar. A tokenized digital dollar would provide alternative access to central bank money outside of accounts. Accordingly, it could facilitate broader, more diverse access for institutions to large value payments and support the emergence of digital financial market infrastructures. Okay. Furthermore, from a settlement perspective, a tokenized digital dollar could provide atomic delivery, either delivery versus payment or payment versus payment. These potential approaches could serve as a way to reduce fraud and counterparty risk, although the decision for settlement time duration will be a business and or policy design choice to determine the optimal settlement window for transactions. Interesting to note there. All right, very interesting to note. International payments currently cannot be conducted digitally in U.S. central bank money. A digital dollar would allow more direct monetary relations to be established, reduce risk, address time delays caused by today's correspondent banking model, enhance competition in international payments, and advance financial market integration. The use of a digital dollar in cross-border and offshore transactions would allow digital payments and central bank money to be made for remittances and large value payments, including the possibility to conduct offshore securities settlement. Now, listen, this access and inclusion thing, it's a good read in the end. If there's 2 billion plus people that can now participate in the banking system, inclusiveness will be touted as a good thing, right? And I get there are some things, but they're not looking out for us, or they're not looking out for them. The unbanked are looking out for themselves. So some good points here that they're making. Let's go to, of course, they got the taxonomy. Important to note that as well. Where am I? Where I want? Token-based systems. And a token-based model, distributed ledger technology based or inspired systems ensure uniqueness and prevent duplicate spends. That is, data is available that in a case where control of tokens should be at any given time. So They get the DLT, they get the power of that. Privacy. Privacy is a deeply personal concept. Individuals have their own barometer of what they consider private, including when and with whom their personal information can be shared. Recognition of an individual's right to protect privacy, particularly from the federal government, was a central tenet of the development of the U.S. constitutional form of government and is most prominent in the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. Options for addressing privacy consideration can be viewed on a theoretical scale. On one end, there could be a completely anonymous, untraceable system. Despite its appeal, such a system would facilitate illegal and illicit behavior. That's an assumption, right? Not only would this be undesirable from the perspective of law enforcement, it would also gradually undermine the very value of the currency itself. Conversely, a system designed for full surveillance and traceability may achieve broad goals of law enforcement and national security. However, that transparency will reduce its attractiveness and inhibit adoption by even the most law-abiding users, and thus lessen demand for, and by proxy, the value of the currency at home and abroad. So one approach is balancing privacy and law enforcement surveillance could involve a system that follows the current treatment of cash. However, it is important to remember, while physical monies were not designed to protect the privacy of transaction or its user, it was simply an inherent feature of an analog bearer instrument. The U.S. government and financial regulators have provided guardrails around cash in an attempt to limit illicit behavior. Such regulations include the filing of IRS Form 8300 to report cash payments over $10,000 received in trade or business. Right? You remember those? Go to the accounts to do something over $10,000. They send something out. They know immediately. The degree of privacy available on a digital dollar will ultimately reflect the development of jurisprudence around the Fourth Amendment. Okay, that's cool. I'm trying to find where I had that. I think it's on 20. The project recognizes that policies and implementations surrounding a tokenized U.S. CBDC will be made by policymakers, U.S. policymakers, but we seek below to offer our insight and guidance to the public discourse and provide thoughtful recommendations where possible. With that in mind, key configurable functionalities of a tokenized digital dollar provide innovative currency benefits such as controlled anonymity, interest-bearing capabilities, account limits, and broader accessibility. Yeah, so we believe that it is essential that a U.S. CBDC maintain and support the current two-tier banking system as the overarching architecture. A two-tier banking system preserves the current distribution architectures and its related economic and legal advantages while inviting innovation and accessibility. Similar to how commercial banks distributed cash on behalf of the Fed would issue digital dollars to regulated intermediaries like banks in exchange for reserves, and the intermediaries would distribute digital dollars to the customers on demand. A user would have the ability and choice to hold their digital dollar in their digital wallets or deposit it into a bank account, which the bank would be able to lend against, like at a 10-to-1 ratio, like they're doing today, right? Which the bank would be able to lend against, unless the digital dollar is put into a safe deposit storage, or custodial solution. Once exchanged for balances in a bank account, it is fungible with other monies as it is on a bank's balance sheet. right? So unless the digital dollar is put into a safe deposit like storage or custodial solution, once exchanged for balances in a bank account, it is fungible with other monies as is on a bank's balance sheet. This is important for several reasons. Well, one of the most vital is to ensure that consumers and businesses keep deposits at commercial banks. Let me read that again. This is important for several reasons, but one of the most vital is to ensure that consumers and businesses keep deposits at commercial banks. That sleight hand, just that sleight of hand, that misdirection, that guise. These deposits underpin the entire U.S. economy by enabling banks to lend funds to borrowers for activities such as buying a home, building a new factory, and everything in between. So like in today's system, right? In today's system, when you deposit your money into the system, $1,000 becomes $10,000 to these intermediaries known as banks, for the banks to go out and do the crazy things that they do, right? Somehow $1,000 became $10,000. I'm wondering if it's anywhere in this particular white paper that it will say that the deposits, the amount of money deposit will be equal to the amount of money that these intermediaries will be able to lend. I wonder if that will be addressed. I have a feeling, a sneaky, suspicious feeling that it will not be addressed. And that's the challenge, right? That is the challenge right there. Interesting little statement. This is most important, but one of the most vital, the most vital is to ensure that consumers and businesses keep their money at commercial banks. These deposits, they underpin the entire U.S. economy. They're telling you what my mentor told me. They can't do these crazy things with your money unless you willingly and freely deposit them into the system. So in other words, the idea of printing dollars or this fractional reserve banking system that was created, it can't happen unless we choose to participate in it. And the only way that can happen is we freely put our money there. Recognizing that a US CBDC involves both change and innovation, we are cognizant of persistent themes regardless of use case. As noted above, there are a myriad of design configurations, but below are a few points highlighted for further discussion, as they will be critical elements of a successful digital dollar. One of those is interest bearing. National security. KYC, AML, working groups to develop design interest bearing. So yeah. So USB-C could be configured with the functionality for the token itself to be interest bearing or not. If chosen not to include that functionality, the system will work in the same manner that cash does today, and that it does not bear interest when held outside of an account, but can bear interest upon deposit. Another one of the sleight of hand moves. Another one of the sleight of hand moves. A US CBDC could be configured with the functionality for the token itself to be interest bearing or not. If chosen not to include that functionality, the system will work in the same manner that cash does today, and that it does not bear interest when held outside of an account. So that says if the US CBDC if they're going to have it function the way that a dollar does today, right? Either case, if it's deposited in an account or deposit, they can earn interest if it's deposited, which to me says it can be negative interest as well. You see how the encouragement is stated there to, in a very sleight of hand kind of way that, the deposit, it's better to deposit it. It's safer. In today's world, consumers can choose to maintain their money in either a safe deposit box or in the safety of their own homes with the understanding that they will not earn interest or receive federal deposit insurance. I knew that safety was going to come in there. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation protection. Just want to point that out, that if you choose to put it in a different platform because technology has innovated around the banking system, and you choose to participate in one of the systems that have innovated around the banking system, you're missing out on the FDIC's protection. If and when money is placed into commercial bank accounts, the money becomes fungible for the bank. If money is placed into commercial bank accounts, the money becomes fungible for the bank to use and lend in return for bearing interest to the depositor. Yeah, like the massive interest that we're getting today. It's massive. Why would we not want to deposit fiat dollars there? Why would we not? The interest is massive. If it is decided that the CBDC would include interest-bearing functionality, the ability to apply a positive or negative interest rate could enhance opportunities for the implementation and transmission of monetary policy. The risk is that as an interest-bearing instrument, the CBDC would resemble more of a bank account and could complicate the impact of a CBDC on banks. The substitutability between bank accounts and CBDCs remains a decisive element for the intermediation role of the banking system. Yeah, it sure does. Wow, it sure does. They basically saying that if you get this digital dollar and people choose to take advantage of other platforms, there's a good old chance that the banking system, as we know it today, could come to, a screeching halt. Interesting. Validation of governance. Cool. Interesting stuff there. So validation and governance, a digital dollar would be enabled by new payment infrastructures inspired by DLT and decentralized technologies. Yeah. Our champion model intends to explore DLT with public, private, and perhaps novel public-private organization validating transactions. How about that? Through careful deliberation, the project will develop a framework for the validation and governance of the new network. The project's approach is inspired by the creation of the internet, which was developed through a model of public-private partnership. Interesting stuff there, guys. I'm going to go back into the chat here. Interesting stuff. Oh, man. Oh, man. Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch all that? Oh, man. Win Mullet, did you catch that? Oh, my goodness. Whoa. At least they'll point it out. At least, look, at least it's there for everyone to read. And all you got to do is apply the principle of discernment for yourself and figure it out. That's why there's so many people. That's why The Celsius network has to cross all the T's, dot all the I's, because they know that platforms like Celsius are offering an opportunity, an alternative to the traditional banking system. The Sum app, an alternative. An alternative, right? Because the US CBDC is going, if it's going to be a digital tokenization of the thing, right? Unless it's going to be, right? If it's going to be a tokenization of the dollar, a digital dollar, then you'll be able to put that thing in any kind of digital wallet that you want. Doesn't have to be in the good old deposits in the banking system, right? But at least they put it in the white paper. I appreciate them putting it there. I'll have to go over it further, but I appreciate the fact that they put it there. But when they throw in the guise and the misdirection of the FDIC, yeah, you understand what I'm saying? That's why he is the way he is. That's why he's very safe and cautious. That's why he doesn't risk. That's why he gets yield very safely. That's why they do it very safely. They don't take risk. They cross all the T's and dot all the I's, because they know, the people at Celsius know, that the banking system knows that is a massive, massive alternative for the average Joe and Jane. Because Wells Fargo is not giving you 6, 7, and 8% on your fiat dollars. They're not. The digital asset space is here, and it's here to stay. And so they know that if you can take your hard-earned cash and put it on a platform and get yourself 6, 7, 8%, it may be a little riskier, right? Right? These platforms are new. These companies that provide these services and yield it are new, right? Celsius is 3 years old. I think Celsius has been the one leading the way. I mean, I believe Salt was out before Celsius. I believe it was, but they didn't operate the same way. They didn't provide this kind of yield, and so they know it, right? So that's why they mentioned disintermediated, because again, like my mentor said, if you don't put your dollars there, they can't have. There's no banking system unless you put your dollars. Right? These loans are not loans that because the bank has this crazy amount of money. The loans are because you and I put deposits there, and other people are loaned. The challenge is that they give us this small percentage, and they're out there lending at 10%, right? And keeping the profits for themselves and not giving it to the people who put the dollars there. That is the challenge, right? XRP Gal, good to see you on the stream, miss. Good to see you tonight. That's right. That's right. That Crypto Keeper. Great point. Good to see you on the stream, my friend. Crypto Keeper says the 1% here relies heavily on the world market. So they need this conversion as soon as possible to keep up with the world, to make sure they never lose their wealth. Digital assets, XRP, is the new money system. That, my friends, is 10,000% correct. You know what I mean? 10,000% correct. That's right, Frank. It's a great point. And it's also a great question to ponder, right? That's right. The train is coming. Question is, how do we benefit? That's the question we have to ask, right? Because the train's coming. I think it is by realizing what's going on. You have to be aware. Obviously, if you are here, you already know. Great point, Frank. Absolutely. Great point. And that's the key, right? Awareness for sure. Yeah, that new network, right? Yeah, absolutely. The carrot on the stick is right. That's exactly right, Frank. And that's the key. But thank God, right, for this community. Great. Thank God that there is, in fact, a new asset class, and there's a digital asset space. And in the end, we can help to educate, help to level up our IQs, right? Level up our XRP IQ, level up the digital asset space IQ, and level up our financial space IQ. All three are significantly important if we're going to win, right? All three are important if we're going to win here. We have to level up, right? We have to read great books like The Pirates of Manhattan, #2, version 2 by Barry Dyke. You got to read, we got to educate, we got to know and understand what is really going on. Then after read that book, you want to read another book, and then read another book, and read another book to learn the truth. I'm excited that Robert Kiyosaki's has finally got some people getting it and backing him and educating the people on the real deal, you know, on the fleecing of the American workers, 401ks. Travesty. It really is. Guys, it's been a great hangout. I appreciate it big time. I got to hop off here real quick, but I will be back. Hopefully, I'll be back later tonight, late night stream. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. It's been a really, really cool hang. D Daniels is in the building. What's going on, D? Good to see you tonight, man. Yeah, Mark Wilkins is here. Appreciate you being here, Mark. Great hangout without question, guys. I appreciate it big times. Friday night. I hope you guys enjoy yourself. Hopefully, I'll be able to get back later on today. Yeah, XRP Gal. I did do a video on VeChain. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, very, very cool. Very excited about all things VeChain. I gotta tell you. Very, very excited about that. All right, guys, listen. I'm going to wrap up this stream like I do all my streams and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya.